Open it for questions at this point.
Now, is that what you expected in the main event? Did you expect Paul Daly to become a wrestler there for a few rounds?
No, I thought it would be more of a striking event, but I don't blame him because, he's fighting a very good striker as well, and I think that he thought if he could wrestle him, take him down, maybe mix it up a little bit, some more opportunities might open up to, to score with his hands, but it just didn't happen. I think time ran out on him.
I know you don't usually score fights officially, or at least tell us how you scored them, but where were you at on that thing? The crowd seemed to react in a way that would indicate that a lot of them thought that Daly might have won that fight.
Well, I think that I don't sit there and score the fight, just like you said. I really just sit back as a fan and watch it. So I didn't score every round. The only thing I would say is the theme of the first couple rounds seemed like there was not much action on his part. I think he got a slow start, and I think he lost a couple of the first rounds just by inactivity. So now MVP has to win one round, and so I think that's the nature of these 5-round fights is get busy and get there early. I just think he just started a little bit too late.
You mentioned in New York another tournament. I don't know if that was part of the broadcast here tonight.
Oh, I'm not sure what they said about that, but
do you have any announcement on that?
No. We have we have a great welterweight tournament. We just finished our heavyweight tournament. We are not going to be doing multiple tournaments at the same time, but I think that we talked about going lighter, maybe the featherweight division. Hasn't been 100% confirmed, but I think that right around September we'll have something to launch for the fall. Well, listen, last night was, I think, the first time in my 34 years of being a fight promoter that I've seen a kick like that end, a foul, end the main event and become a no contest. So, it's unfortunate. I know Mitrione didn't want that to happen. I know Karatanov definitely didn't want that to happen. It's just, this is the fighting business, and it is what it is. So, I think that we'll regroup with Matt and Karatanov when he's healthy, and we'll get him back in there as soon as we can.
Obviously, a great atmosphere here tonight. Is that kind of, do you feel, make up kind of for last night, anything else with the down-down?
Yeah, I think, listen, today we had some great fights. And last night we had a couple of great fights. But, it's, I feel like, we've been on a roll with Hawaii and then all the great fight cards we've had. And last night was, to me, it was an okay night. It didn't end well, but we had a couple of good fights. On the first two, I would say, televised portion of the card, I think they were pretty good, and we got to take a good look at some of those athletes. And then today, I enjoyed a lot of the fights, and I know some of the fighters feel a certain way, or some of the journalists feel a certain way, but it's you gotta respect the judges, let the commission do their job, and that's the ruling.
Tonight, might have surprised a few people, but is Congo the man going forward at this point?
Congo is the number one contender. That is the number one contender fight, and he will be fighting Ryan Bader at some point, maybe summertime.
Scott, fans love a rivalry. They love heavyweights. The biggest rivalry in MMA history is Bader and Krokop. It's been a long time since both have been under the same banner. Any chance we can get that rematch before they retire?
That's something that I'll have to sit down and talk to Fedor about. I haven't talked to him since, the fight in LA. But, I always said, look, if he wanted to do one in Russia or fight one in Japan, before, he moved on and retired, I think that'd be something that'd be a lot of fun to do for us. And especially if he wanted to do it in Moscow. And I know Mirko wants to revenge that fight. He's told me personally, his management has repeatedly asked me about it. But it's nothing that I've talked to Fedor about.
Scott, once again, the women's Steelers show this past weekend. You had Amanda Bell, Amber Lieberrock, you had, of course, Valerie Laredo. You also had Lindsey Van Zandt. I know she's pushing heavily for Bellator, getting heavyweight division. Is that something you consider? Now, when you know that you have these whole division of women who can fight, especially a woman like Lindsey Van Zandt who wants to be part of Bellator.
Yeah, you know what? Our job is to continue to build the female divisions because that's our commitment. And when we said we're going to start putting on female fights, which is, come on, you guys know, it's like this been part of my history from back in Strikeforce. And even before that, in Strikeforce kickboxing, I think the first female fight I put on might have been like 1987, you know? So it's nothing new, and I've always felt like, look, in the martial arts school, there's people training right next to you, female, so why can only men compete? It was really a restriction by the California State Athletic Commission that didn't allow it to happen on the first fight. Back in 2006 when Frank fought Gracie and Kung Lee fought in the inaugural fight of Strikeforce. So we've been the biggest supporter of female mixed martial arts. People could say, hey, we did this, we did that, but hey, we were the originators and we were the creators of the female division in MMA. Yeah, we actually met with the Garden earlier this week, and we're just trying to get a lineup, a date, and that's really what it comes down to. We got some great fights to bring here. I don't want to talk about the fights, but they're sizable names, and if we come to New York, we got to come big. So, you know, we're trying to work it out with the Garden right now.
Another one on locations. Obviously, you got Rory, you got Julia and Bud. Any update on coming back to Canada?
Yeah, I mean, Canada is a little bit tricky because the venue there in Toronto where we would go is very busy, and that's been the big problem. But I don't think the fight with Rory fighting John, and if Rory wins, in his continuation of the tournament will probably be in June. That's a possibility, but most likely it'll end up maybe in New York or LA.
Scott, you're in Connecticut a lot. Big star in Connecticut, big star in MMA, big duel. Free agent, any interest in signing them?
I mean, we got to talk with our guys, and they're just, you know, right now we have so many fighters on the contract. There's only so many TV slots. I have a lot of respect for the kid. I think he's done a great job, and really, it just comes down to bandwidth and the TV slots that we have, and that's, you know, and we, you know, when we had a conversation internally with our guys, really it came down to, you know, we have so many fighters on the contract. We got to give these guys the first shot, and that's really, that was the decision. Yeah, you know, I'm silent because honestly I can't remember, so I'll have to go back and check it out. But listen, he fights for he's been fighting for Ryzen, and that's fine. And so we're sending King over there in April, and Horiguchi's going to come here fight DC at some point in the summertime. So we have a good relationship, and so, you know, I'll have to research that question.
Speaking of local stars, last night Mike Kimball suffered his first pro loss. We haven't had the chance to talk to you since that event. What were your thoughts? You know, where do you think he goes from here? And then also John Duma, and I believe he's on a one-fight deal with you. Will we see him back in the Bellator?
Yeah, I'm sure my guys are talking to him, and you know, hopefully they have some options on him. But Kimball is, I think he's a talented kid. I think he still has a great future. And you know, this sport. Nobody stays undefeated. You guys all know that. Everybody, you know, gets their defeats at some point. I think he's got, you know, some work to do, but he's still very young, right? So let's see what happens. We'll definitely put him back in there as soon as we can, and let him continue to fight.
Scott, a lot of fighters get upset when they lose a close decision. While we were waiting there, 4 police officers got rushed into the fighters' locker room. Something happened?
Yeah, not that I know of.
Scott, Terrell Fortune obviously had a very, very good win, very, very impressive earlier tonight. Who would you like to see him fight next? What are some of the possibilities that you guys may consider?
Boy, I'm not sure. Who would you like to see him fight?
Well, he called out Jack Swagger.
Okay. Right.
You know, there's any number of heavyweights.
Yeah, you know what? That's something I'll just kind of hold close to my vest. We definitely have some plans. We have some plans for Jack. As you guys know, he's fighting May 11th in Chicago. We have another opponent in mind, but you know, we'll put together something next week and get back to you, Mr. Fortune.
Scott, you mentioned, first of all, congratulations on the Sky Sports deal.
Yeah.
Does that now change? You now with Sky Sports, now with, of course, the Zone, is there a plan of maybe adding an add-on division, adding more fighters, maybe doing separate, you know, little events here and there? Since the Zone wants more content, Sky Sports wants more content, and you're now serving 3 masters.
Well, I think if you look at the amount of fights that we've done for the last 2 years, it's been 22. plus kickboxing, so add another 4 or 5 fights. So, let's say we're in the 27 fight range. This year we added 6 more fights just in Europe. So now we're in the 30s. So, we're going to take care of our Channel 5 commitment, which Channel 5, I'm not sure if everybody knows here, but that's like CBS here in the U.S. It's on terrestrial television. Every channel in the U.K. has, Channel 5. And so it's great distribution. And the beauty of it is that it's owned by Viacom. So we are all owned by the Bellator is owned by Viacom. So it's a great family relationship with there. They are going to air us in prime time, which honestly, I just don't think it's happened over there as far as the series goes. And then Sky Sports, that has something that we talked to them years ago, and they had no interest in MMA. And I know other leagues have tried, and I feel very fortunate and honored to have a relationship with Sky Sports and Channel 5. And it's going to be a game changer, guys. I think the exposure, the amount of fights that we're going to do. Channel 5 is going to air a European series, and then Sky Sports is going to re-air the European series as well as air all the other fights around the world live into the UK and into Ireland, which, I think last year when we were sitting here or, months ago, it was like, hey, when are you guys going to be live in Europe? And, we're getting beat up because, we're not able to put the deal together that we wanted to put together. Now I think we hit it out of the park. And we had great distribution, and we're really excited about the future there.
The flip side, though, how do you balance it? Because the zone wants big fights. Viacom wants big fights. How do you tell them, no, I can't give you guys everything? And everybody's greedy in this industry. Everybody wants to have everything all the time.
Right. Well, keep in mind, the zone has our tournament series, right? They didn't get the heavyweight, but they start with the welterweight, and then the next year tournament that we do will end up on DAZN as well. But they also simulcast all of our Paramount fights. So they do have those other 15 fights that we have on Paramount. They are able to simulcast them. So next year, this year, they'll have the 15 plus the 7. So they'll be doing 19 events on DAZN.
Scott, we were talking about the women's division before. Pretty status update from Julia Budd or already a couple of years ago, teasing a comeback here in Bellator recently.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Tiki today about Julia getting her busy. I know Rich has been talking to Heather. And keep in mind, we have, our 2 consistent divisions, but I'm not opposed to creating super fights in different weight classes for females. So if it works out and we have a great 115 pounder or a 110 pounder, I mean we'll put her in some fights, and they could just be super fights. It doesn't have to be in our 2 specific weight classes that we have. Thank you, guys.